Guys, deluded, welcome back and thank you very much for tuning back in to YouTube's Lucas Terrera and all of them things. As you can see, I've just basically finished what I want to speak about in regards to writing the material. So yeah, at this moment, I'm kind of freestyling, but yeah, let's crack on. Now, Aaronramsey, I know that guys, I sit here and say I ain't going to speak about it again, I'm not going to do this and that, but it is what it is at this point. I'm sure most of you already clued up by now. If you're not, long story short, his contract expires at the end of the season. In the next few months, when it touches January, he's free to talk to abroad clubs and things like that. And any pennies you would have hoped to have got for him, anything from, I'd put a valuation on 20 to 40 million on Aaronramsey. Regardless of his opinion, we've seen worse players go for basically touching that. So by Arsenal standards, I expect us to get 20 or around that for him. Should ideally be getting 40, but his contract's up. So yeah, it's a very much a case of will he, won't he, won't he in regards to his contract. Even his agent is consistently messing around on Twitter and playing games, or the representative group, even where I know you saw the tweet where they said they have a special announcement and Arsenal fans went wild, only to be announced that Ramsey's giving away a signed shirt. So you can see them playing up to it. We don't know. If it was me, and again, it's easy for me to say, 'cause I don't know the ins and outs, but I've said this with Ox, I've said this with Alexis, I've said this with Jack, I've said this several times. I would have sold him in the summer, because you need to know what a guy is on. Like, first and foremost, the talks should have been done a year or so ago, or in the lead up to it. Fair enough, these things happen where man don't want to renew their contracts or they're delaying and whatnot. By end of the season, alright, cool, few weeks off, you should know his intentions when pre-season started. If he's not on staying, sell the man. Like, for me, I believe in Ramsey. I like Ramsey. I think he's quite overrated by some Arsenal fans, and he's not rated enough by some Arsenal fans. He's another player like Mesut, Jack to a degree, and Giroud and Theo. Polarised opinions. Arsenal fans tend to speak in extremes. I don't believe he should be vital to the side. I don't believe anybody is of the quality, really and truly, generally speaking, off the top of my head, at the Arsenal side that should be quality. But what he can provide us with is different options. In a game where I'd like to be defensive-minded or a bit switched on tactically like that, I probably wouldn't throw him in there, because I don't believe in if you give Ramsey 9 games or 10 games or so, he's not going to be disciplined to the level I expect of him. He might show it like in the FA Cup final, where he timed his runs. You know, Ramsey, he wants to get forward and stuff, but he timed it. He thought about the greater good for the team. And for me, at 27 years of age, to still be somewhat playing like a teenager, it is frustrating and things like that. I can't trust Ramsey. I can't trust Ramsey going into games where I want to shut up shop and be decisive, but games I want to be offensive, I want to have an opportunity to score. Games I believe is kind of even, you can see Ramsey's use. Added to that, I believe generally speaking, midfielders don't score, especially the central mids is what I'm targeting. Central midfielders are not scoring enough goals generally in football, I believe, these days, and especially specific to Arsenal, there's not. Okay, Ozil done all right in front of goal last year. Ramsey typically does all right in front of goal. And that's one reason I'd like to keep. I don't think there's enough goals in the side, because I always say this. If I'm Arsenal manager, if I'm Aaronramsey a few months back in pre-season, and I'm thinking about, away from the defensive stuff and all the other stuff, if I'm thinking about purely application and who's going to get me my goals and trying to decide if I need to, obviously we didn't, but if I need to invest in that market, I'm going to sit there and I'll be like, alright, cool, Ozil, I don't have him down as a goal scorer, but the stats said he scored. Aubameyang and Lacazette, they're strikers, they expect them to score. You'd like to think in an ideal world, Mkhitaryan probably chips in for it with a couple. You could even forgive him for thinking even Monreal could, but past that, you're not really seeing any other goal scorers in the side, so you kind of have to keep Ramsey. He said he wants Ramsey to be vital and important and things like that, and that can still happen, but he showed that you don't really care for, if you play poor, you play poor, and you don't care for favouritism, because Ramsey got dropped after the City game, and then he was on the bench and them things there, so we'll see what happens in regards to keeping him. But away from his ability and stuff, if we just consider the long-term impact, now I'm not a finance man, but Ozil signed for big wages, 350k, something around that, right? Or let's just say 300. Let's just say 300k. Let's not get into specific. Let's just say 300 bags a week. Yeah, was it more than that? Or was it less than that? I don't know, people, but it was around that, innit? Let's say that. Now let's go on the rumors. Rumors say Ramsey wants 200 or around that. We don't know. I definitely don't know, because I'm not in negotiations. But that puts it around 500,000 a week going on them two players. Now, you'd think there are 2-star players, that's the price you have to pay, and that is true to a degree. But what I'm starting to think of, okay, Ozil's clearly stagnating, and I want him to get in form, but he's clearly stagnating, and he's clearly coming towards the end of his career. This is probably the last big contract he'll get in Europe, or I don't know if he carries on balling, you don't know what can happen. You look at David Silva, but you'd like to think so. Ramsey's now 27. I remember when he was 17. I've basically gone to school and watched him grow up. But he quite rightly so. He wants a big contract. He wants to be kind of brought parallel to Ozil or nearer to Ozil. Now that should be quashed because I don't think you're as marketable as Ozil. You don't have a presence as Ozil does, regardless of what you think of him. His world global presence and the marketing opportunities can come just by having Mesut Ozil part of your brand or part of your umbrella at Arsenal. And Ramsey, it doesn't correlate. But if I'm Ramsey, I'm still trying to get a good contract. You need to. You're 27, probably the last, maybe a second good quality contract. You need to think about several things. You need to think about your young family. Is this where you want to play? Is this where you believe you can win stuff and achieve all you can in the best part of your football careers? There's a lot for him to consider. So I get all sides of it. But from an Arsenal's perspective, I'm starting to think self-financing and stuff like that. There's a lack of planning, and it seems like we're just freestyling into the abyss, and we could get ourselves into serious problems with, again, I don't know the finances, but 500 bags on 2 players, as much as I love them, for instance, we don't know what we're going to get from them 10 games to 10 games, and they're both approaching the end of their careers. It sounds harsh because, I mean, they're in their 20s, and I'm not saying they're going to be retired tomorrow, but every year this is going to get us in some issues, because that's 500,000 a week, 500,000 essentially a week, or give or take, going departing the club. And when you look at Aaronramsey's injury records, yeah, obviously he had the mad thing a few years ago when them Stoke pussyholes injured him and whatnot, and he got through that. But even if you just look, since 2015, I went on Transfermarkt and looked, 2014-15 season, he's had 6 different hamstring knocks, which has kept him out for a total, I added them all up, of 199 days. Groin injuries have left him out for 222 days. 59. His calves is 35. Every so often, I'm looking at it, every 2 years he gets a minimum of 2 injuries. So does it make sense? As much as I like him, does it make sense to give him that sort of money for considering his fitness? And I'm not saying his fitness is an issue. I'm saying with his fitness, moving forward as he gets older and it takes longer to recover and things like that, he's clearly a vital member of the side. But if is any player really and truly undeniably quality in that side? No. So he's not really a main player like that. So that's about 3-4 reasons to kind of back off about the contract stuff, or it makes it tricky. We've got ourselves in a silly situation because there's not really any market value. For me, it'll be very good if we can get 20 or just over that for him in January. My brain's telling me January probably leaves. My heart don't really care about this, to be honest with you, because we're just crap as a whole club, as a matter of fact. But I don't know, man. I would give him a new deal, but I'd say when I looked at it from his injury record, because me and my friend were having a debate about Aaronramsey's injuries record. I was like, he's not injured all the time. What are you talking about? And I looked, and then when you look at the information, he is quite injured quite a lot, and it's quite commendable that somehow he managed to have he had a good season last year. The contract should have been sorted then. Somehow he managed to have a good season, but it was disrupted by injury. So I don't know, man. With the current record of his injuries and the rate, and I'm sure some of you scientists, dons that are smart and watch me can put some patterns together. Considering he's 27, he gets older. If this trend continues and he's in his 30s and 31, and that's going to be harder. To which we're going to find it ridiculously hard to shift people on. So I can't lie. I'm starting to think Ramsey's going to go out the door in January. To be fair, people, but it is what it is at this point, man. It's just the lack of forward planning and guidance and all these things from the club is telling. It's telling. Like, for me, I genuinely believe these clubs are not as smart as we make them out to be. You'd think, and they are smart. They're surrounded by individuals that have gone Harvard and done all their madnesses and part of that elite group, but they don't make smart decisions. I can't talk on any other clubs, but clearly Arsenal are not making smart decisions, or haven't been for a while. Playing catch up on commercial deals. The contract business, I don't even need to get into it. I don't even need to get into anything more. You guys that support Arsenal, you know what I'm on about. People call me negative and etc. and etc. I just like the truth. I'm not negative. If there's 1,000 reasons for me to be happy, I'll be happy. But I'm not going to be blindlessly happy. That's what people in life like. People like to be comforted by lies. I don't, because when that bubble bursts, it hurts, man. And it took me a while to really deep that this club is not going anywhere right now. But away from all of that, man, not to sound like whinging and all them things, guys. Deluded, get in the comments, subscribe, and do the rest, man. Yeah, wait, there's nothing else. See there, the last 2 years or so, he's had about 2 injuries per season. So yeah, I mean, and you guys remember December 2017 to 2018 in January, he missed around 28 days with a hamstring injury. But don't take my word for it, go do your own research. Guys, Deluded, get in the comments, subscribe, and do the rest, man. Thank you for sticking and watching with me.